Some of the language I probably use is not really appropriate, but I just find that it's really just, it's a f***ed up situation, and I'm not real happy. We're devastated, but we'll get through this.
Emotions run high as a suspected cop killer appears in court. The prosecutor's office vowing justice will be served.
We'll do everything we can to see justice is served in this case.
And new details emerge in the case.
But not only had the defendant not attempted suicide, he was waiting in ambush for the officers.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Craig McKee.
And I'm Kristen Hartman. Thank you for joining us. Today, a community is mourning the loss of Clermont County Deputy Bill Brewer. Prosecutors say he and another deputy, Lieutenant Nick DeRose, were shot Saturday during a 12-hour standoff. Brewer died from his injuries. DeRose survived. Well,
today, the prosecutor announced that he is seeking the death penalty against the suspect, Wade Winn. 9 on Your Side has team coverage for you tonight. We begin with anchor Tanya O'Rourke. She's live at the newsroom with what happened with Winn in court. Tanya?
Craig, Kristen, 23-year-old Wade Winn is charged with aggravated murder and attempted aggravated murder. Chief Criminal Prosecutor Darren Miller said the standoff started when Winn called 911 indicating that his home was being burglarized. Winn refused to leave his apartment, and officers realized that weapons were inside Winn's home. Prosecutors say that's when Winn threatened suicide. And at one point, prosecutors say Winn faked his suicide in order to ambush officers.
But not only had the defendant not attempted suicide, he was waiting in ambush for the officers and the special response team. He fired multiple rounds through the wall in his apartment, murdering Deputy Bill Brewer and attempting to murder Lieutenant Nick DeRose.
Well, prosecutors add that hours later, when Winn's apartment caught fire, as you're looking at right now, he surrendered. All of that without one shot fired by law enforcement. Winn's defense attorney, Jay Clark, says his client suffers from mental illness.
Is a very good example of what happens when mental illness gets out of control and is not treated, not recognized, I think, more than anything. I think he understands more, having talked to me for a few minutes, the issues that he has to deal with. But he's very emotional and very distraught.
Now, Winn is being held at the Clermont County Jail on a $10 million bond. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for 1 o'clock on February 13th. Kristen.